we are starting, so everybody can fulfill what he's doing right now and pay attention to you.
Yes.
But you cannot expect people, hey, and everybody listening here.
So, I expect you all to have the capacity to look at your clock. If you don't, put an alarm in. If we had more chairs, I would be happy to spend time preparing you for everything. But since I'm the only chair, I will not have the resources, because in the pauses, half of them I spend plotting for make this meeting better for you, trying to solve all the errors I did during since the last break, and all the other little things that the chair needs to do. So I agree with you in principle, but we don't really have the capacity to do that. So you will have to put an alarm on your clock. That's what I use. It's amazing. Alarms on your clock. I do it all the time, by the way. Anyways, with that said, the meeting is back on. As far as I understand, Marketa had a procedural motion and she wants to talk about it.
Yes, I would like to withdraw the motion.
Okay. For everyone who hasn't been part of the discussions during the break, do you also want to justify why you're doing that?
As we are trying to reach consensus because we think it's the best thing, and we came up with a better solution for the problem because we all agree there is a problem, and thus, whereas we have a better solution, I'm withdrawing this motion. Should I say already what the better solution is, or so? I don't know.
If you want to, you should. If you don't want to, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I always want to, like, yeah, but sometimes I speak too much truth. Like, some people maybe want to keep it not that loud, but okay. I will say the better option is that we'll proceed with the voting abstain to all the nominees, so that we can then correctly say that we couldn't fill the positions, and then accept even the late nominees.
Okay, that's very, very clear. We will soon go into voting. I have been looking at the rules of procedure over lunch and the statutes, partly because of this. And I have a question to those who've been in the meeting before. So it's about the statutes. And in under statute article 24, it says all votes will be public and published in the minutes of the meeting, including those for elections. They shall be done in writing if appropriate. Votes done in writing are usually appropriate for the election of members of the board. So all the board elections where there's more than one candidate, we will do in writing. But that's fine. And then it says to fulfill the requirement of a written vote, an email or chat protocol will be enough. And then it says abstentions will not be taken into account. And I'm curious about the sentence abstentions will not be taken into account. Because if you go up to election of the board, it says, let's see, where we have that. If several candidates are to be elected, the candidates who gain more than 50% of the cast will be elected. Highest number. Oh, hold on. If only one candidate is to be elected, the candidate who gains more than 50% of the votes cast and most of the votes in the first round is the person elected. 50% of the votes cast. But abstentions will not be taken into account. That means that vote cast here, according to my understanding, is only yes and no votes. That means that if everyone abstains, except one person voting yes, someone gets elected. If everyone abstains and one person voting no, the person don't get elected. And if everyone abstains, no one gets elected. But my interpretation of the statutes, I think these are crappy statutes, by the way. I wrote them, and I think they're my interpretation of these two lines together is that it's 50% of the votes cast with abstentions not counted, because they're not taken into account. That means that your plan, which I think is an excellent plan in theory, in practice is not compatible with how our statutes are written. Do the meeting have a different interpretation of the statutes than I just explained? Magnus?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. I agree with your reasoning, and I understand why people want to abstain, because they don't want to vote against their nominees. So it's pretty simple just to say that those who doesn't nominate a person just vote no. Close that.
I think we can vote no. It's just that it was.
Yeah, it kind of weird looking though that you vote against your own nominees.
Yeah, but for good reasons. Moral.
For moral, no. Okay.
Miklas.
That was actually my proposal, that we will vote against all the nominees, and then we realize that we should have more consensus and we will act more consensually. In the second round, of course.
Okay, so speeding up the process, what I can offer is to go around of verbal asking the meeting, is everyone voting no? And then if everyone says yes there, then it will be recorded as all no votes without going through the paper procedure. If anyone disagrees there, if it's sort of an agreement that there will be vote no or abstention, I can ask, will everyone vote no or abstention? That would save us the time of having to go through the paper procedure, if everyone is okay with that. And I will phrase it the other way around. I will say, is there anyone who will not vote no or abstention? And then if anyone says yes there, then we'll go into the paper procedure. Otherwise, we skip the paper procedure step. That should save us some time. It should go with the intent of the agreement that you come to, and hopefully it will allow us to move forward, which is the direction we all want to go in. Having said that, I also suggest that we take this decision before presentations, because otherwise we will only have the presentations of the people who are submitted in time, then we will have this question, and then the other presentations will come later, with sort of a gap in between.
Yeah,
and if this is the intention that everyone should be a candidate, I think it's better to first ask that preliminary, is there anyone who won't vote no or abstention? And then we do all the presentations at once. Is there anyone to object to this way of conducting this specific meeting? Excellent. Then we have a strategy and a plan, and we already had an agenda, and we're continuing on that agenda. And it says lunch break. Excellent.
Sure.
So, yes.
Let's have lunch.
I must admit, it would be nice to have a recap exactly. I am a little bit lost, and it would be nice to just have a clarification of the strategy that you just mentioned we have in place.
Yes.
Firstly. Secondly, I have, I'm wondering whether, but if some nominations are going to be like that issue, would we have to choose a chair again or no?
No, the chair is already done.
Okay.
These are only for the rest of the seats.
Thank you for clarifying that. Then the strategy clarification.
Yes, so the idea is that what we want is a first round where there's more no's than yes and mostly abstentions. That's sort of the aim of the game. To ensure that, instead of handing out paper so everyone can write abstains a lot of time, I will ask the meeting if there's anyone who will vote differently than no or abstain. And then, if anyone says yes there, you will then have the chance to actually vote yes, no, or abstain on that position. But if no one says yes there, we will automatically conclude that we couldn't fill the position because no one got the majority to get elected. And then I will ask the meeting, can we open up for further nominations? Then we open up for further nominations on that pot. This will be position by position. Also to clarify, which I didn't say, in the protocol, everyone will be listed as abstentions, and then you have the possibility to come and correct if you want to change it to a no. That is because it has to be written down. So unless, but since we know that everyone will vote no or abstain, that makes sense. We'll put it abstentions. If you want to correct it to a no, you can always come and correct it to a no. Either raise it directly in the room or just come to the chair. But there will all be abstentions otherwise, because they have to be written down in according to our rules and procedures on this. I hope I was clear.
It did help, yes.
I like when people think I'm helping. It doesn't happen that often. So, that being said, if there's any other questions, if you realize halfway through that I wasn't as clear as I think I am, because that's very common, just let me know and I will explain again or try to elaborate so that everyone feels that they're in control of what we're doing, because that's the most important task for me. I like to influence the outcome, but the most important thing for the chair is to make sure that you all know what you're doing and that you feel that you're in control of the meeting. With that said, we are going to elections of vice chair. Before presentation, I will ask the meeting, and if you're going to answer yes to this, you just raise one of your yes notes. You can, one is enough for us to go to paper, so that's all needed. Is there anyone who will not? Is there anyone who will vote differently than abstain or no? I close that voting.
Congratulations on a no vote.
I found that we could not, on the position of vice chair, fill the position. Therefore, I asked the meeting, shall we open up for further nominations? And this you can do with acclamation. Anyone in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, at the same time, you can do the whole thing at once. Favor, no, abstention. All raise them, whichever you prefer. Okay. Thank you. I close that vote. I find that we open up for further nominations. We already have some further nominations in the wiki. Are there any other further nominations to the position of vice chair that hasn't been added to the wiki? Has anyone checked the council emails lately to see if there's been any additions there that I'm not aware of?
I have not received. Marketa?
Nope, me neither.
Okay. Let's see. Then we have, as far as I understand, we have Carlos Gonzalez Iglesias, Gabriel Neroy. How do you pronounce that?
Antigone.
Marketa is no longer valid as a candidate. Miklas Peksa, Salvo Christiana Gissuradottir. And was that even close?
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And Thomas Gall, all elected as vice chairpersons.
Nominated.
All nominated, yes.
Would be great.
It would be such a lovely world. So, we have 5 candidates. I don't have a randomizer.
Random.org. Random.org can randomize lists.
Random.org. I like these tools.
String randomizer, list randomizer, that's different. But easier. Copy paste, click randomize, you have random order.
Ooh. It's actually random.
Yeah, well, I don't know how
I'm doing
random
it right now.
is, but yes, how good the randomness is. But it's
So-
fair enough.
Whatever function they have, we do know that at least they're outside of
You want help?
control of the meeting. I've randomized
Okay.
the presentations. We will give everyone up to 5 minutes presentation, then questions, then there will be a general discussion, and then we'll go to the vote. Same procedure as on the chair, unless anyone objects. Excellent. Then first for presentation is Thomas Gall.
Coming up front. Hello, dear colleagues, so to say. Well, I've been nominated by the Power Party of Norway, and I'm honoured by it. Knowing I've been with the organisation for quite a while, helped them out a lot, and know the idea behind it, because the idea behind PPU is having us on a European level, alongside with the European MEPs, to help them out, help out our members, having further discussions how to further the European Union, and I believe I'm eager to help out as a vice chair for the organisation if you'd like to have it or to elect me. That's in very short. I don't need 5 minutes.
Chair.
Chair.
Yes, well, I think you can, sorry, feel free to conduct the questioning. It's easier if you do it for me.
So, any questions?
I have, of course, a question.
Go ahead.
Thomas, in the German Pirate Party, you are also very strong organizing for the upcoming EU elections. So there is an EU-19 group where we are sitting together, and so the question is like, are you planning to connect those two things, or what is your plan for the upcoming EU elections?
Well, for the upcoming EU elections, well, I know I will be one of those being in alliance with the Pirate Party of Germany. Knowing that team, most of the time I just convene the meetings, but I know there's a close bond, even to others. But there needs to be contact to other parties as well. And I know Marquette has done a lot in the past. That I will hope to support her to the best I can, like others did in the past. And I know we work as a team, so I've learned.
Thank you very much.
Any further questions? Nope.
Excellent, thank you. Then next on the list is Carlos. Is Carlos
not present at the moment?
Is there anyone who can give a presentation for Carlos?
Well, in fact, I'm not prepared, but
you can do it.
But speak a little bit of Carlos. Carlos is.
You can stay there if you want to. You don't have to.
But he's not really visible on the. Well,
it's just so they can see you. Streaming?
Well, but nonetheless, I'm not Carlos.
But you're pretty.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're pretty.
we don't vote according to the face.
Then they can actually see the person that is representing Carlos.
Okay, speaking for Carlos at the moment. Carlos is Catalan pirate. He's city council in the town of Lerida, which is the third biggest town in Catalonia. He's quite involved till now in regional structures of the Catalan pirates, but is looking forward to running on the list for the European elections for the Catalan pirates. So he wants to get more involved into the European issue, and he decided for him that this will be the first step to go towards a European field and involve himself in the European issue.
Thank you. Are there any questions to Carlos?
I don't have a question, maybe a fill-in, because I received actually email from Real, from Pirate Party of Catalonia, asking to nominate Carlos, and she tells more about him in the email.
Okay.
So I asked whether I can read it.
Yes.
So, yeah, maybe, yeah, so that you can hear me properly. I will also go here. Sorry, I'm also not Carlos. Okay, so Carlos Gonzalez. He was elected as member of the council in Lleida, one of the 4 province capitals in Catalonia, on the previous local elections, and now he will be running to be our main candidate on the European elections. At Pirates de Catalunya, we still have to do our primaries, so it's not 100% sure, but it's quite likely that even if he's not our leading candidate for the European Parliament, he will for sure be on top positions. He's a very capable person and a great guy, so I'm sure he can be a great contribution to the board. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the part about him that Muriel wrote me. If it will help you with decisions.
Thank you for that. Then we have Salva.
Hello, I'm Salvar Kristjana Gisradottir from Iceland, nominated by the Icelandic Pirate Party, and I'm new here. I have never attended a meeting with the European Pirates before, but I have been one of the founders of the Icelandic Pirate Party and active in many other fields than the pirates. And I am an assistant professor in educational technology with the School of Education in the University of Iceland, and my field has always been education, and that is the reason why I entered in activism about copyright and things like that, and open source and open educational content. I was first a secondary school teacher for many years and teaching programming and things like that in Iceland, and twice I have been in the government. I worked in the Ministry of Education, where I was organizing computer studies in primary and secondary schools in Iceland, and I also worked in a special project by the government of Iceland about the information society. And from that experience, I know that this is not from the government point of view, you are not empowering the powerless in the society. So I am very fond of what we should do in the coming years about how the technology will change the society, and how there will be many jobs that go away. And so I've been very active in both BN Iceland and in Attack Iceland about financial activism and things like that. And the reason why I ended up in the Pirates was that I followed all my activists that were there were many active in the Icelandic Wikipedia and the Icelandic open source. And that was the reason that brought me with this group to found the Pirate Party of Iceland 7 years ago. Thank you. And ask me some questions.
Okay, if there's no questions, thank you for that. Then we have Mikuláš.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. Hey, my name is Mikuláš Peksa, and I'm currently serving as the Vice Chairman of Czech Pirate Party. And as I've told you previously, I'm the one who was delegated to, or have the main responsibility for the upcoming European election from the Czech side. A part of that, I'm currently MP in the Czech Parliament, serving as Vice Chairman of the European Affairs Committee, where I have somehow accidentally reported stuff like law about European elections and stuff like that. And now I'm asking you for let's say, a position of Vice Chairman of the European Pirate Party, because I feel that there is something in common for all these positions that should be done, because the activities are actually overlapping, and I would like to somehow use advantage of this scenario. That's the idea behind. What has to be done is that actually we have currently representation in a couple of parliaments, and we need to somehow cooperate on legislation. This has to be found out how it works, and I offer my experience to solve this type of problems. Then there is the second part, because there are some parties out of pirates who wants to negotiate with us, who wants to cooperate with us, and we have to somehow work with them. I was, from my position, already somehow responsible for this type of work, and I always tried to remember that I'm also working for the European Pirate Party. That's something I want to continue, and use this opportunity to actually get leverage for all the pirates, not only for the Czech pirates, but all pirates in Europe, in order to promote our program and to achieve our goals. So that's the idea. Feel free to ask questions if you want.
You do have some positions, and I'm just wondering how you see your time share between the different positions. How much do you feel like you can put into being the chair or the vice chair?
Currently, it exactly works that way, that as I spent a lot of time solving my personal problems, I'm now spending all my time to forget about my personal problems. That's the first part. The second part, whatever I do in order to have the best success in the European elections. I give up everything else, and I think this position particularly is very important to have success in the European elections. No questions at all? Okay then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And last is Gabrielle. She's not here. Is there anyone who wants to introduce her?
If no one wants to, I can.
Please do.
Antigone is sat on the board. She's from the French Pirate Party movement. Sorry, I was eating grapes. She's from the French Pirate Party, and she is the current vice chair as well of the board of the European Pirates. She was nominated by the German Pirates, I believe. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Antigone, and she has, I think, brought a very important perspective to the board. I don't know what else. I just wanted to make sure that people at least knew that she was from the French Pirate Party. She is a current vice chair, and yeah, I think that's Antigone. Do you have any questions?
You can mention that she started also the CEEP this year. She was also
absolutely. So Antigone played a big role and started off the entire process of the CEEP or the CEE program, the Common Elections program of the European Pirates, and she did do a lot of the organizing, and she did do a lot of the herding, so to speak, in relation to starting that process. So, so that was one of her biggest contributions to the board. That's leaving you all now. But yeah. Any other additions to Antigone? Yeah.
I'm just curious, as the former chair, how do you perceive Antigone's performance?
I think what's most important when it comes to the makeup of a board is not just passion. I think every pirate that I've ever met has passion, and Antigone has that too. I think the ability to be able to set a diverse and inclusive board together where you play to each other's strengths is imperative for a good result of that board. I think Antigone has done a very good job at playing a coordinating role, at taking balls that were maybe slightly too big for some of us and taking on that responsibility and then handing it over once she either, so in terms of her performance, being able to know your limitations but also being able to take tasks that are maybe slightly bigger for others and starting them and then, you know, respectfully or, you know, giving that on to others to handle is definitely a quality that I see as a strong one that she's provided on the board. Yeah.
Thank you. There will also be a general chance for discussion, so to ask questions of people not in the board. There was unfortunately a question. There's a question from one of our remote delegates, and I will see. There's some microphone problem, but we'll see if Marek can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. So I have basically the same question for members that are going that are running for re-election or for a different position, but in this board. So from my direct experience and also from the minutes which are now unfortunately mostly unavailable from the board meetings, I have noticed that the attendance at the meetings was usually quite low. So, so basically, I would like to ask all of you whose attendance on those board meetings was, let's say, not very regular, like whether what was the reason, and in Mikuláš's case we already heard it, but can we expect to attend those meetings more often if re-elected, and why? So that's basically the thing. And also like I don't automatically suspect you that you haven't done anything there. But if you, for example, have worked otherwise, just could you tell us what have you been doing during that time? And this is at least a general question that will also that's also for the next candidates, like for the candidates for the rest of the board as well. So I might repeat it then as well, but you can like give a reply directly. So thank you.
Thank you. So Gabriel and Mikuláš are the ones in the previous board. Gabriel will obviously not be able to respond, but if Mikuláš wants to add anything as a response to the question, feel free.
I don't think I enjoy replying to these questions. As I already answered, I would rather not answer again.
Okay. Then we have all the questions to the candidates. Then I'm opening up for a general discussion about the election of vice chairs. I would encourage everyone to speak positively about candidates or share your views on how you think the vice chairs, like what people should think about when elect vice chairs. And I would ask you kindly to refrain from attacking or criticizing any candidate. That is not how we would want to have the meeting. So you're more than welcome to come up and support a candidate. You're more than welcome to start a general discussion about the vice chairs, but don't use this as an opportunity for personal attacks or anything similar, please. Is there anyone who wants to speak?
Maybe I.
Margareta?
Yeah. You said I should go
You
around.
can sit where you are, or you can come up.
I have a dilemma among candidates, and that's why I need to ask you, Savor, something, because I don't know which ones to choose. I didn't want to actually ask it before that because I don't consider it really like but I talked to you a little while ago, and even now hearing you, I'm really sorry for this question, but I need to ask: how do you feel in English? You know, because we have regular mumble meetings where where you need to hear what they are saying, and they are of course in English. And yeah, that's like my question, because it's important for me to know if we'll be able to understand each other like normally or something like that.
I don't know if my English didn't sound good, but I have education from America, and I regularly communicate in English, and almost all the time. Most of my work is in English.
Cool, great. Yeah, so sorry if it sounded rude.
Yeah.
It was just that I've seen you're reading some text, so I wasn't sure whether you're reading it, because of the language, or because you wanted to didn't want to omit any points or miss them out. So that's why I needed to make sure.
Okay.
It's nothing about how you sound. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Anyone else who want to speak on the topic of vice chair elections? Okta.
I think the important part is when you choose for any board position is to understand what type of role we're we're voting for and what type of individual and how that individual will fit into a larger group. As you may have heard today, I'm a huge fan of diversity and inclusion, and that extends to all things. It extends to anything that you can imagine in terms of experience, lived experience, what you work with, what you've done. But you probably also heard me speak today and in the last year about getting back to our roots. That to me is a fundamental thing that we as pirate movements need to remember, why we got into this activism, what we're doing, and how we are going to change the future. I think the vice chair position is one not just of support, but of leadership. And I think it is important that the people we choose into those positions have the institutional knowledge within their own parties to be able to lead it, that they have an understanding of how movements work, and that they are in fact experienced and can work independently. Those are all qualities that were important for the Icelandic Pirate Party in their nominations for this board. So I think those were the thoughts in terms of what type of prioritization the Icelandic Pirate Party went to nomination on in terms of vice chairs.
Thank you for that. Oliver?
Well, just a short one. I just got a message here from Carlos. He apologized for not being present, but at the moment he's in a meeting in Lerida in the city council. But also for you as information, he won't run once again for the city council as he's going towards Europe.
Thank you for that piece of information. Is there any other comments or remarks? Okay, then I think we're ready to go to the decision process and close the debate. So, votes here will be done in writing. You have multiple candidates. The statutes explain the voting process, but I will try to explain it again, and hopefully that will not make it more confusing. We do approval voting. That means that you can vote for as many candidates as you want to. We elect 2 positions, but if there's 3 candidates that you think will all be great, you're more than welcome to vote for all 3 of them. You're more than welcome to vote for all 5. You can vote for 1, 0, any number between all candidates and no candidates. You will be voting on cards that we will hand out, where you will have to fill in the organization, which is the party you're representing, your name after delegate, so that we know who's voting, and number of votes that you're representing, because some of you will not have the entire voting block of your party. So just write how many votes you have. And there, after that, you write the name of the candidates you want to vote in favor of. You only need their first name because there's no duplicates on first names. We will be totally okay with spelling errors. Don't worry about it. As long as it's clear who you're voting for, it should be fine. Then they will be handed to us. We will compile it into the protocol, and we will announce the result. We will check if people fulfill the criteria of 50% of the votes, and then we will tell you who got elected and if we need a second round of voting. And all the votes will be present there. They will all be stored exactly who voted like where, because that is the transparency requirements we have. So you will get these, the delegates will get these, and they will be able to vote. To get elected, you need to have the most number of votes and at least 50% of all the votes cast. And if we don't get 2 people who fulfill those 2 criteria, we'll go into a second round of voting where we'll have fewer options. But let's go into that scenario if it happens. First round of voting is 50% of the votes or more and most votes. Those are the 2 criteria. So the 2 people with most votes will get elected if they have 50% of the votes cast or more. So, this should be pretty straightforward. Let's see, I'll just hand it out myself. And when I'm in front of you, if you will need more than one.
Question?
Yes.
In the case that we represent two organizations.
Then you get 2 papers, and then you write them separately. And if you have 5 votes and you want to vote differently with those 5 votes, you can also get 2 papers and just say that you have, you write your organization and your name, and then you said 2 votes on one and 3 votes on another if you want to split your votes. But you can also, of course, just write 5 and vote in the same with all of them.
Yeah, he also needs 2 votes.
So.
So you have
If you get too many notes, you can just keep them for later.
We have people.
So, everyone, I understand that there might be some questions, or that you might need to discuss with someone. But if you need to confer with someone, please do it as quiet as possible, because it will be easier for everyone else to write if there's not too much background noise.
So I can write 2 votes on it, right?
Yeah, sorry.
You say the number.
Super, tak to
I also need 2 papers if I split the vote, right? If I get my 2 votes the same way, I can just...
Then you just write 2 votes on that one.
Or actually 3. If you have the all the 3 votes...
Yes.
Okay, so we don't need...
But he has 1 vote in your 2.
Yeah, but he can...
jo.
Tak
si to už tady.
It would be make easier because to count it's the same.
So it's better to be correct with the votes that you have given, because it's correctly reflected who voted.
So I can give 1 back. I don't need to split my vote.
But keep it for next round. You will probably
Yes. But you contradict yourself.
Number of votes.
Okay.
So. Salvor.
Cool.
Hold on for them. Should they return the votes?
Yes. Is there? So I will go for a first round. Whoever are done with the votes can raise them, and I will take them in. And then I will hand them there, and then we can fill them out.
So.
You. Thank you.
Which vote for?
Thank you. There are more votes than me. And the Luxembourg votes are in.
Well, I'm not.
You want vote? Yes. You have your vote?
So do you want to split it? Like, mainly for Gabriel. Okay. Okay, so ask for
Matthias, can I have a second paper?
Yes.
Like another two, maybe two.
There you go.
So, when I chair a meeting in Sweden for the youth organization for board game geeks and role players and computer geeks, we realized that a lot of the voting takes a lot of time. So they developed an online tool where all this is done so basically all the delegates have to have a computer in front of them or their phone, and they do all the voting there because then compiling and counting is quicker. So it would be interesting to check with all our member organizations if anyone has such a tool that we can also use on the European level. Pens and paper are super, bulletproof, but as long as we have delegates, we don't need the secrecy of the vote, which means that there's much easier tools for electronic voting. So I would, for the sanity of the people chairing the meetings, and simply for everyone, it might be worth looking into for the future. Do you have a comment on that?
I have a comment on that. If you remember, we had people in Prague presenting their voting solution and wanted to provide it to us and to let us use it. And we also decided that the board should look into an online voting and come up with a solution. So we already
you're moving in that, yes.
Status of that. So we already a year later back to the same topic. But actually, those guys, these Russian guys, did the blockchain voting system based on blockchain. They actually would love to work with us still.
Okay, well then the new board can look into that, because this is one of the things where technology can greatly improve the meetings.
Yeah, I think so.
We did have a working group on that within the board.
So that was just a little comment. I don't want to distract the people still voting, and we still have. So, are you done with your votes?
Yeah.
Then I can take those. Are you done with your voting? Okay.
You will assume because we are two delegates, and just like link the guy. But this is the second vote. Yep. but I think just 2 votes because there are 2 vice chairs. But then there are like 3 names.
Räkna rösterna så att alla kan se dina röster. Det var det som hände i Tjeckien förra gången, att folk satt och tittade på oss och bara, rösterna så här.
Ja, just det, vi ska sätta på
det. Är det som händer, så skulle kunna hända i det här läget. Bara så att det är liksom...
Ja.
I think...
Så det går ju bra att räkna offline.
This from the Greek part. And because they want to go for this to allow that.
Okay.
It's correct? Okay.
Is there anyone here who's supposed to vote who hasn't voted? Okay, then we're just waiting for the last compilation of votes.
If you say so.
Yeah, I'm saying Luxembourg because they are both.
I got another computer. Jag har fått en ny kompis nu.
Italy just arrived in person.
So from the next vote we will split it.
Okay, thank you. Alejandro, I just told the chair of the meeting that you will switch on the next vote. Correct? Yeah.
Alessandra Marqueta, and we wrote on this. Yeah, we don't chat.
You are the chair.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm happy to announce that the meeting has elected Salvar and Mikuláš as vice chairs of the organization. Okay, then we go to election of treasurer.
Okay.
I think that's the order of elections. Yes. Treasurer, we have 2 candidates.
Can we see the results in the pad?
Yes, so now you have to add everyone voted in another pad. So now you have to vote. They will be added to the pad so you can see where everyone voted and stored in the minutes as a normal voting result with everyone who's votes. So we have 2 candidates for treasurer. No, we don't. Sorry. We have to ask the meeting if everyone... So, on the position of treasurer, is there anyone who will not vote no or abstain? Please indicate that with the voting card now. And that voting is closed. That means that we couldn't fill the position. Then I ask the meeting, can we open up for further nominations? Please vote with your cards now. Thank you. Thank you. That voting is closed. I see that we open up for further nominations for treasurer. We have one other nomination in the wiki. Is there any further nominations for treasurer? Okay, then we have 2 candidates. I will randomize the order. And Bastian goes first.
Yes, I know. Every time.
You like to?
Yeah, it's random and it's then randomized every time as the first one. So, hi everybody, seeing a stream. Sebastian Krone from Germany. The rest is in the wiki. I'm one of the candidates who have the presentation in the wiki. I'm just the acting treasurer and in the Pirate Party of Germany since 29 and in the Pirate of Swiss since 2018. I'm in the international movement since 2012 and I'm so-called white hat hacker. You see the white hat. And I'm head of the PPI tech and today of the PPU tech and so on and so on. You can see all my functions in the wiki. I won't boring with it. I'm fit in accounting, of course. Otherwise, I can't do the job. I'm nominated by 4 private parties: Germany, Catalonia, Norway, and another country cannot read my Czech Pirate Party. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. You know me. I have to say something what's important for me. It seems to be there is a nasty fight with my Luxembourgian predecessor, and who did nothing in the past. And this is embarrassing very much, to spend your lifetime to send nasty mails to your colleague who did nothing, then blocking everything. And that cost me a lot of hours lifetime, promise. And I won't that have it again. I can work for you in every position, of course, but I love that treasurer because I have made a promise that we take the Pirate Party movement of Europe into account, that we can fix up all the nasty things in the past, and now we have an organization who can work and can make things going. And I hope that will be our future. The future of politics are pirates, as a movement all over the world, except on the Antarctic, but all over the world. So, thank you for listening to me, and if you have questions, do that. Or do you summarize the questions?
No, you will get questions now, and you can hand out the word freely.
Any questions? No?
Maybe I will have one. Bastian, what about the German bank account and the Czech bank account? What is your opinion on that? Like, your personally, of course, that the board will decide something collectively, right? But I want to hear your personal opinion.
Yeah, my personal opinion is that we had a situation that we waiting for that bank account in Luxembourg since March. Nothing happened. And then we discussed we have to use a plan B. The plan B was that the treasurer looks for an account. It's not that easy to get an international account not every bank is working internationally, and if you're not situated in Luxembourg, your company is situated or your organization is situated in residency in Luxembourg, but not you. And it's easy if you are Luxembourg people, but if you're not a Luxembourgish people, you have a big problem. And I got it, and you got it too. And we discussed that. We try both. It's no problem to have, yes, we have it in the protocol, in minutes. You can see it. And we have a lot of emails about that problem. And I can offer all the, to give these emails to the public if there's any problem with that. And I'm glad that we have now 2 accounts and we try that. What's the problem with that?
No, I should have specified my question, sorry. I'm not asking about the past. I wanted to ask about the future, like what is your personal opinion about how we should now use these accounts, like which one should serve which purpose and stuff like that?
It's the answer is quite easy. It's a service for our members, and I think it's a good idea to test both, which is the easiest way to transfer money, how the costs are in real. Is it easy to send European currency to a Czech bank? Is it easy to transfer it back? And what costs are implemented with that? And I think there are no experience with that, and we should use both. It's not a problem. And I have the signing papers for the new board with me that they can take over this account we have in Germany. So let's try the practice. That's my answer for it.
I don't really understand how to use both. Like, you will distribute the invoices like 50-50, like 50% of invoices will be to the Post Bank, 50 to Fear Bank?
No.
What
it's
is
using? It's a decision by the members, I think. We have a lot of companies here, have a lot of bank accounts, and it's a decision of the customer who wants to send his money to this or the other bank. It's the if you have a Post Bank account in the world, it costs you nearly nothing to transfer money. If you want to transfer money to Switzerland, for example, it costs you a lot of money that the transfer will fulfill in Switzerland. That's the thing we have to try out. And I got no information about the Czech bank account. No, nothing.
Well, I do have them.
But I'm the treasurer, and not you. Okay, and that's a problem, maybe.
Well, you didn't ask me.
I did ask you a lot of time. Can I have it?
Chair?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to be questioning.
Yeah, but
questions, not questioning.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Any other questions? I'm here.
There's no other questions? Well then, thank you.
Sorry that I'm laying on the table, but I broke my spine some weeks ago, so I have to stabilize it. Thank you.
So we have next candidate, which is Píratar from the Luxembourgish Pirate Party. I was hoping to be able to introduce him, but I'm desperately looking for the email I got. There, I have it.
You have it?
Yes. So this is the presentation of Peter that I, as the Luxembourgish delegate, would want to share with you. The Pirate Party Luxembourg hereby nominates our political coordinator, Mr. Peter Freitag, for the position of treasurer. Peter was born in Berlin in 1975 and has acquired the Luxembourgish nationality since. He has been working at a bank and for the protocol of the Luxembourgish monarchy. He is well versed in accounting and we will enable him to fulfill his obligations for the PPU during his normal working hours. Kind regards, Sven Kamal, President and Deputy Pirate Party Luxembourg, yada yada yada. That is the presentation I have of Peter. I will be very unlikely to be able to answer any questions about it. Any questions?
So, did I understand it right? He is employed by the Pirate Party of Luxembourg?
I think he's employed by... I'm not sure if he's employed by the Pirate Party or if he's employed by the Pirate Party delegation in the Luxembourgish Parliament. I don't know which one is his employer, but he's employed by one of those three parties.
But he works for Pirates.
He works for Pirates. His working office is the same place where the post for the European Pirate Party goes. Which, by the way, there has been none over the last year. But that is where it goes.
That hurts. No mail?
No mail. They also emails nowadays. Any other questions? Okay. Then we open up for a general discussion. Once again, I want to urge you, if you want to discuss the candidates, you should use positive words. You shouldn't attack anyone. It's also very welcome to discuss general principles on constitution of the board and balance and whatever, but don't go on personal attacks when you discuss elections. Anyone who want to talk on the topic of election of pressure? Okay, then I think we can hold on. You're done here, right? Yeah. I'll just double check so there's nothing I missed in here. Okay, then I will open up the votes again. It's exactly the same procedure. You can vote for 1, 2, or 0 candidates. Is that an already completed vote?
Yes.
Excellent. I'll take it when I...
Chair?
Yes.
Just a clarification that the votes of Italy, the Pirate Party in Italy, have been transferred between delegates for this
Yes.
vote? Thank you.
And for all future votes, if I understand it correctly.
Yes, correct.
We now have an on-site Italian delegate, and he has taken over the voting from our off-site Italian delegate.
Thank you.
More.
No, der hat vom letzten Mal noch.
Do you need two?
I'm already.
You already have. You need one. You need one. And you need one. Thank you. I will take this one back. Ready?
Yeah.
And these are the old ones. Yes. There. This is the new one. This is the document.
Could you please send me or show me what site?
Is there anyone who's already done with their votes? I'm happy to collect.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we will do this slightly differently. I will not ask when you're ready with your votes. You just flip it around like nonchalantly or any paper, and I will come running. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You.
Yeah, it's got it over to the document.
Thank you very much.
have more votes.
Woohoo! In here.
Is there anyone on site that hasn't had any of their ballots yet? Okay. Okay, I'm closing the vote, and we have elected Peter Freitag as treasurer. And then we will go to board members without appointed office. And here we have a list of candidates.
You need to first say.
Yes, before that, on the position of board members without candidates, is there anyone who will not vote, abstain, or no? Okay, then I find that we couldn't fill the position. I'm asking the meeting, do we want to open the nominations for more candidates? Please vote now. Thank you. I find that we have opened for more nominations. There are additional nominations on the wiki. Are there any further nominations? Okay, then.
For Germany, I've heard that they want to add somebody, and I withdraw.
Yeah, Pirate Party Germany nominates Bastian for Board of Members without appointed office.
Yes. And sorry, so okay, Bastian is added, and
I'm out.
And Thomas, you're withdrawing your candidacy. Okay, can someone with wiki access update the wiki to reflect that?
Thank you, Thomas.
Don't push me.
Is it done yet?
Reload.
Okay, we will then open for presentations first.
Sorry, I don't know if you got it, but yesterday when I was flying from Milan to Amsterdam to reach you here, Pirate Party of Italy nominates me.
Okay, excellent. I had a vague memory of that email, but when I was looking through an email, I couldn't find it today. Okay. So then we're adding your name to the list.
Thank you.
Can anyone with wiki access...
Just tell me.
Alessandro, A-L-E-S-S-A-N-D-R-O.
Alessandro.
Ciofini, C-I-O-F-I-N-I. C-I-O-F-I-N-I.
Ciofini.
Thank you.
Alessandro Ciofini.
Thank you very
Okay, if I get correct, we have 11 candidates then, and we have 5 positions, and we will give everyone a chance to present themselves. Then we will do the questions, and then we will do the voting. So I've randomized the order, and Gabrielle is first to introduce herself. We got a presentation of her already. If there is nothing to add, we will move to the second, which is Alessandro, who is first to present himself. I've randomized the order, and you're lucky to be second, and it's your turn.
Great.
So feel free to come up here,
Okay.
because you're sitting in one of the spots where you're actually not really visible for the remote participants.
So first of all, thank you very much. I'm a bit excited to be here, also because it's almost 3,000 miles from home, and also because for me it's the very first time that I can see you face to face. So thank you very much. The second thing, I would like to do my best to be short. Can I speak for 2 minutes or
5 if you want to?
Great.
Short is really good.
I know, but the most important thing is that, well, maybe I just introduce myself because nobody knows me. I am in the Pirate Party since 2012, just after. I exactly remember why I got into this huge and great movement. It's because of the German. I mean, I was completely fascinated by the German exploit, and so I just go straight, find my local brothers and sisters and go there. So I was actually, during all this year, even if Pirate Party of Italy is not very active regarding the whole European scenario, I myself was very active into my local scene, especially in Milan, but also during all this year I've been elected for many things. I mean, not president, because actually we don't have president. We have some bureaucracy person that because we have to by law, but we have a permanent assembly, so we don't need a president. But the main reason why I'm just here and why Pirate Party of Italy candidates me is that Italy needs and believe into Pirate Party of Europe. We would like to move on local pirate parties and to create a huge and I should say powerful pirate party. We strongly need that this is one of the most great things that we have, that we share common values all over Europe, and nobody like us do. No leftist or rightist or whatever. They just put there and then search something to aggregate. We are aggregated by design. So Italy needs for sure this huge party, and also this is the occasion to do something back to Pirate Party of Europe, and this is me. So I would like to serve Pirate Party of Europe to do this main goal, besides all others. I'm on time, Chair?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Oh, sorry. Come back.
No? Then thank you.
Thank you.
Then we have Carlos. Carlos has also been presented. Is there anyone who wants to add anything there? Okay, then there's Etienne. Etienne has also been introduced already. Is there anyone who wants to add anything there? Then there's Alexander Spies, who hasn't been introduced but is not here. Is there anyone from the German Pirate Party who can introduce him?
Has Etienne been introduced? Has Etienne been introduced?
No, she hasn't.
No.
Oh, sorry.
At the end, but
At
I
the end
mean,
hasn't.
it's Gabriel.
Well, sorry for that, my confusion. Etienne hasn't been introduced. So if anyone wants to introduce Etienne first, and then we will move on to Alexander. Is there anyone who can introduce Etienne? No? Okay. Then I will check with the Norwegian pirates if they want to do an introduction in text, but we will move on while that. So, David can introduce Alexander.
So, hi. So, Alexander Spies is a valuable member of our international coordination team, and he have served 5 years in the regional parliament of Berlin, being faction leader in the Berlin parliament. He is currently a candidate to the European elections, and he is also appointed coordinator for the election campaign in the Pirate Party of Germany, for the European election campaign. And so he cooperates anyway with the Pirate Party of Europe and all the process of the Common European Election Program, and it would be a big contribution to tap into his knowledge of the whole process. Well, he's involved with the European pirate movement since the beginning, and he participated in, I think, all of the founding meetings, and also the manifesto of the European Pirate Party is, well, mainly co-written by him and me. But so I think he's an available option to have on the board.
Thank you. Any questions? No? Then next up is Antonios, also known as Tony from the board.
So, well, for those who don't know me, first of all, so I am a pirate from the Pirate Party of Greece. I've been a pirate since 2012 when I joined the Pirate Party of Greece, and I've been since then also part of the PPU meetings when we back then wanted to found the whole thing. I've also been with the board of PPU from the start because people like me for some reason. So in the last days I was debating whether I should keep going being in the board or not. So I will do this presentation for me differently than I did other times. I will give you first the reasons why not to vote for me, and then I will say why you might want to vote for me. So, yeah, in the past term, basically, I've been basically in a place where, you know, based on my priorities in life, I haven't been like, you know, chugging through a lot of tasks in my to-do list and doing a lot of things. So generally, sometimes, you know, if you send me an email, you might not get a response within the same day, but rather within the week, for example. So that's something you should take into account. And also the fact that I am with the board for 4 years, maybe, you know, I will not be hurt if you decide that, you know, someone shouldn't be in the board for 4 years or longer. So these are the reasons why you might consider to, you know, swap me out, and it's okay if you decide to do that. Then for the reasons why you should vote for me, it's because I have been with the board for 4 years, and I kind of, like, for some people, they say I am kind of like the memory of the organization. So that's one thing going for me. And also, even if I don't respond to emails within the same day, if you look into board meetings, etc., I've actually had like maybe one of the highest rates of attendance in like all previous boards. So I mean, even if I'm not the guy who will write all the rules of procedures and, you know, prepare all the press releases, I think, yeah, plenty of people know they can rely on me on being there and contribute to making the decisions. So that's one thing going for me. And yeah, that's it. So it's up to you guys. And yeah, if I will still be Tony of the board, or just Tony. Any questions?
Okay, no questions? Then thank you. Then we have Octavia.
here again. First of all, I'd like to thank the German Pirate Party and the Icelandic Pirate Party for nominating me. As the departing chair, now a fan to the chair, I've had great pleasure in taking part in this work. It has been difficult work, of course, but I have had great pleasure. I want to say that being a regular board member, to me, I would be the best option of being able to still take part in the work that we do within the board of the European Pirates. I think right now it's a very important time for the European Pirates, and being able to push the agenda of getting as many pirates from as many countries as possible into the European Parliament is important. Now, why is that important to an Icelander, a crazy freckle face with weird hair? Well, it's because a lot of the legislation that we have to adopt comes from the EU, yet we have very little say there. Mikuláš has mentioned it a couple of times, but it is in our interest at heart, as a flat-structured, power-distributing organization and movement here in Iceland. We trust all of us, as long as we speak on behalf of the Pirate Agenda and as long as we speak on behalf of the Pirate Manifesto, to sit in the European Parliament. It doesn't have to be us, but we would like to support that. We don't have a direct stake. We have many indirect stakes in this upcoming election, and we would like, or at least I would like, to be a part of pushing that. I think it's very important that we start a conversation right as soon as possible in terms of what types of mandates we're going to give, what types of support we'll be able to give, in terms of what kind of coordination we need to have. And in particular in that, my personal interest lays in the work that the departing board has been doing on the media strategy, the media plan, and how we communicate our values to people that do not come into hackerspaces, that do not have access to computers necessarily, that still don't understand why you can't just have one password for everything, because it is really easier, and that do not have, nor should have, the know-how to be able to fully secure and control the digital devices or the digital presence. So, thank you for the nomination. For me, it's important to support and take part in ensuring that we, as a governing body, elect collectively in Europe as many pirates. I said boldly 10 plus. I stand by it. I still wager 5 Icelandic kroners, which by now is maybe 1 euro cent. I don't know. But yeah, particularly the way in which we present ourselves, the way we coordinate, is something that I would love to be a part of in the next year. Thank you. Oh, questions? Questions? My favorite color is purple. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next is
Etienne told me a few words.
Okay.
So he said that he's grateful for the nomination, but he's already have responsibilities with the PPI, so he's withdrawing his nomination.
Okay. Thank you. I hope someone will update the wiki accordingly. Lorena is the next to be introduced.
Okay, obviously I'm not Lorena, not Carlos, I'm not Lorena, but I've got here a small presentation from her. It's a little bit improvised, it's done over the run just right now. I ask you to be very quiet. I put the mobile on maximum. Let me see if you can hear it.
Good afternoon, pilots. I am Lorena Müller. I'm from Argentina, living in Spain. I'm also Italian. I know it's very difficult to understand, but you know, in America we all are from different countries because our grandparents came there from especially from Europe. Well, I'm living here from 17 years, I guess, I'm not sure. And I'm an active pirate since around 6 years ago. I was European candidate from Spain from the last European election in the 3rd place. I'm active member of the feminist pirate section in Spain. We are a group from many parts of the country and locations, and also from Catalonia. We work especially in communication and trying to connect people around Spain, Catalonia, etc. So, well, I'll be very pleasure to be part of the board and to cooperate with all the pirates around Europe to try to have the best for us. For us, I mean the people, because I guess next year will be one of the most important elections in Europe, because the right wing, the extra right wing, are very huge, and we need to stop it in whatever way, because here we are, our flag is the black flag, but also the human rights flag, and we need to take care especially for the people, not only from Europe, all around the world. So thank you and have a nice afternoon. See you.
Thank you.
Any questions? I'm trying to answer.
Thank you. Then we have Magnus.
May I ask one thing? Ernst was already on schedule or not? Because I had to take a call.
Soon.
Good,
Magnus.
because I have a text from him. Thank you.
Magnus?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I'm Magnus Andersson from Sweden. I'm the chair member or chair in Sweden, and I really see PPEU as a really strong force to pull all the pirate parties in Europe together, because together we will be stronger. And I think, in general, that's what I'm always been trying to convey to everyone when I talk, and I think that also my actions shows that. I've been in Iceland the last 3 years now, because you have an election every year, so I have to come here every year to help you with your elections. And I've been to Netherlands to help them as well. And I think it's really important that we do talk and work across borders, because borders are just lines on a map. We need to focus on helping each other, and I do concur with the 10+ goal that we should have. It's not too far-fetched. I think it's with hard work we will get there. So that is something that I, as a board member, should be working with. And a lot of things comes down to pooling resources, so that we don't have to do the same things over and over again in all the countries, but help each other to do things that are tedious or take some time, and it's the same things. Just do it once and copy and distribute. That's my main focus, I think, for the EU election. I don't mind working if there are good things to work for, and I think that the Pirate Party in Europe is something to work for. Absolutely. All right. Questions? All right.
Thank you. Then
passage from Ernst. First of all, I would like to thank the whole Council for electing me to the board at the Prague Council meeting. My current work situation unfortunately does not enable me to participate in this GA, neither in person nor online. And therefore, I'm very happy that Marketa from the board, well, I didn't read it beforehand, so I don't want to be in competition to you. Will forward these words of mine to all of you. I have 2 work appointments which I cannot postpone since they involve the collaboration of several big teams and opera stage rehearsal, to be clear, for a production in the Theatre Antiquarian, one of the 3 big Viennese opera houses, on both days during the meeting hours. It was quite an eventful year, and I loved working with every single member of the board. It was such a constructive atmosphere. In the first board after the hiatus, such a great display of how politics could be, such a high amount of respect towards each other. Together, we have celebrated successes like the official registration as a party. We are ironing out the kinks of financial operations, and we are working towards our common goal of the EU Parliament elections with great team spirit. I would like to continue to contribute to the work and, hopefully, success of the PPEU. My goal for next year would be working on establishing a forum, especially for bridging divides that result from different approaches to political culture, which have not yet become evident, but will in the future, with a hopefully growing number of institutional and individual members, who will come from the most diverse backgrounds of our member parties and partyless countries. I have come across some instances in this last year which make me sure that as we grow and continue to give ourselves a more refined structure and also new institutions, we need to be aware and open about our differences and put all the more effort into overcoming them to unite all of Europe, not only the EU, under the Jolly Roger. This is all the more important since the idea of the EU is showing so many fissures right now. Therefore, I would ask the Council for their continued support. I believe that the jump start I got last year was a very beneficial experience for me, and I would very much like to continue my work for the PP. Questions? Okay, in the name of Ernst, I thank you.
Thank you. Then Francois is the last to present.
Hi, I'm Francois Tabuteau from the French Pride Party. I would like to thank the French Pride Party and the Czech Pride Party for the nomination. I've been investing myself in the French Pride Party as in a sort of a council there, where I have to welcome newcomers, try to facilitate their participation, and also as a moderator of the debates. I've been reconducted in this task, so I think I'm doing quite a good job there. Also, in my other life, I'm a social psychologist and a cognitive psychologist. I'm quite interested in the way team works and people works together. And I think with the challenges coming from for the PPEU, that could be for some help. I think we should try to maybe think a lot about organization, maybe task specialization, and maybe, I don't know, like specialization among the board itself. That's it, if you have any question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we will do the same thing again. You can vote for as many candidates as you want. 5 people will get elected. They need 50% of the votes to get elected.
Up to 5%.
Up to 5.
Yep. Really?
Hold on. You want 5 or up to 5?
Up to 5.
Does that mean that we only have 1 round of election?
It depends. Yes, but
I will hand these out, and then I will look into the statutes on that. You need.
Just a short question before we start to vote, Francois. Yeah. How long are you involved in the Paris movement?
What?
How long are you involved?
Since
the beginning of the year, I think. Okay.
Chair.
Sorry, Chair. Chair.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm not used to having you in the corner.
There is something here.
There you go.
Can you remind us who withdrew their...
Yes, so if you go to European-pirateparty.eu, there's a wiki.
We have it here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Everyone has withdrawn is chicken out.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so we have the statutes say, so I will talk while you vote, and this is sort of a technical discussion that we'll have with people who've been here before. The statute says that we can elect up to 5 people on the board, but it doesn't state whether we first decide on how many people or we first vote.
Yeah.
Anyone who has a comment on that? So in most organizations, when you have a flexible number of members, you first decide on the number of people on the board, and then you vote for those positions.
Up to 5.
Yes, so the problem is, do we say we should... So there's 2 ways. Do we first decide it should be 5, and then we vote? Or do we vote, and if there's 5 people...
But we have more than 5 candidates.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we can fill up the list.
So motion. Let's decide to elect 5 board members.
Okay. Yes. Let me rephrase. We can have fewer than 5 if we wanted to. There is a proposal to have 5 board members. Is there any other proposals for number of board members? Okay. Then pause your. Yes.
Should we elect the members that they have more than 50% of the vote?
That also comes in, but before we even try that, because we will have second rounds of voting if that doesn't happen the first time around. So before that, we will decide on how many. There's a proposal for 5. Is there any other proposals?
Just one question. I talked about
the number of seats on the board.
In total.
No, in number of board members without a title. Yes.
Okay.
It can be anything between 0 and 5.
Yes. Alessandro.
Anything. You can elect as many as you want, as you first told me.
And we need to decide how many we want.
Okay, I'll go here. So the normal procedure is that first you figure out how many you will want to elect, and then you fill those seats. Because if we say we will vote for everyone who gets more than 50%, and then we will just be that many up to 5, that will change the voting behavior of people, because they will be less likely to vote for 5 names, even if they might want someone. It affects the voting procedures. So we should first figure out the number. Tony.
So my proposal is to stick with up to 5 and decide after each round if we want to keep going.
We still can do that.
Yeah. You can do that also.
We can do that as well.
That would be 5, and if we don't fill 5, we can reopen the discussion.
Exactly. And if we want to have another round, then another one.
The decision is let's have 5, and then let's look if we can fill it.
So my suggestion would be that we decide to have 5, then we vote. And then if anyone wants to change that decision after the first round of voting, you'll do that. If we don't fill all the 5 seats, that is. But I don't want people to change their votes based on whether or not it will end up with 5. If that makes sense. The normal procedure, and I think we should stick to it, is that you first define the number you're aiming for, and then you vote. And there's a proposal for 5. I will ask, you will have to do your little hands, because we only have 1. Do we want to elect 5 members of the board? Please vote now. Thank you. We will elect 5 people of the board. And if you're ready with your notes,
we can write down more than 5, right?
Yes, as many as you want, because it's approval voting.
Wait, Není to vpadl někde.
To by mohlo, že?
Ich bin so müde, das gibt's gar nicht.
Kaffee trinken.
Gibt's einen Kaffee?
Ja. Mr. Babler.
Ich habe seit heute Morgen keinen Kaffee getrunken.
Nein, przecież losne. We have procedural question. Sorry. So since it's the first round, you can basically vote for...
Not necessary.
Rozepět, takže jo, 13 za sebe jedno. Já jsem si jenom něco počítala.
Yeah. Well, we cannot relax. It's okay.
Okay, and we go back to the waving. If there's anyone who wants to hand in some votes, you can just wave them around.
He lives in Sweden. Vi kan look it up somewhere. I will give it to Martin.
Always interesting. Even if Sweden is like the first place of Spider Party, it's evolved so much from where we started. So I think that well, it's not a big deal that we started. It was just a coincidence, more or less, because we were like finally we were like okay.
Cože?
Ernst bude něco dělat Ernst.
Jo, on toho dělal věci za kaškou. On na někdy stejně ale jakoby to nejde nic otázka, kolik času můžeme nicméně kolik jsem nebyla ale tady to first round musí to jenom 5 já teď vlastně chci vidět pak to budu muset vybírat přísně plus máme rodinu
and it's on Facebook and it's on then we have a dream team. I named them myself. That can help.
You mean European Pirate Party and then streams?
European Pirate Party Council meeting stream.
Mr. Chairman!
Dream.
Mr. Chairman! We have... Thank you!
It works fine.
Are
you having trouble?
Scale?
Yes?
I have trouble finding the stream on our website.
To the European Pirate Party versus most
Yeah, but it's not on the streaming, right?
No, it's from on the main page.
Yeah.
Meeting stream.
you know, like basic.
Yeah, okay, I understand it, but the problem, of course, is like if you go on the website, there's also a headline that says streaming, right? And there is not this.
Someone maybe
Yeah, I've seen it now. Yeah.
To poke someone. Why have that?
You should, and I have as well.
More and more things are produced by machines from, you know, start to end. And we need to have rethink the society as a whole. Personally, I'm against income tax because people with income will probably diminish. That means that the government or the state will get less and less money to support the ones that need to be supported. And by doing so, it's going to be a strain on the workers because they have to pay more and more taxes, which means that we will be dividing the country between those that have work and those that doesn't. And that is an unneeded tension.
Jo,
So if you can remove
Jo, to já třeba volný slot na tiskovku, že jí dodám nástřel nebo zítra. A že si ho pak můžu dopovědět.
Já mám teda spolu dohodnutou, že bychom si chtěli popovídat o nějakým dalším to ještě předložit zítra. Protože budeme vlastně, kromě toho, že my si vyrábíme naší povolební strategii, tak my si vlastně musíme jakoby vlastně, neříkám, že to vytepeme teďka do kamene, jak to bude, ale my si vlastně musíme lajnovat cestu, že už bude čas. Myslím si, že musíme lajnovat cestu a to je s tím myslím si v pohodě a myslím si, že jakoby uvidíme, k čemu se dobereme, ale myslím si, že by tady v podstatě konsenzus na tom, že se něco stát musí.
No, jasně.
Jo, co jsem educated mluvil, takže všichni chápu, že se něco stát musí, takže si počnu si říct, co a jak. A nějak to jakoby vypůjdeme. Takže já teda asi večer nebudu se posílat tiskovku, ale tohle to asi na dlouhou diskuzi. Takže po artikulánu.
Jak pro mě to taky nebyla prčím obchodem, je to volba neurážím.
To nebyla urážka, to byl kompliment. Jste přeložil.
No, jakože já myslím, jak to jak hlasuju, jakože já to neberu jako humor, a to je právě vážně.
Tak jako být zvolená jednomyslně bez protikandidáta, to je jako, sorry, ale sorry, jako...
No, to znám ze zahraničního odboru.
Vůbec si to užiju.
So how do you think? This is exciting. Come on. How will they build it?
Well,
like this. The chair and then some other people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, unimportant minions.
Yeah, exactly.
The tables.
You should say that. No, I want more people on the board. I want more minions.
Oh yeah, like 10 more slaves.
Yes, I can announce that we have elected 5 ordinary members to the board, and that is Gabriel, Tony from the board, Ernst, Magnus, and Octavia.
Could you repeat those again?
Yes.
Tony's still on the board.
Next time I will say just kill the person.
Everyone, I know it's exciting, and I know you've been sitting for a very long time. You've been very patient. I'm impressed. I wouldn't be able to sit this long if I had to listen to someone like me. But can you go for that one again, please? So we elected Gabriel, Tony from the board, Ernst, Magnus, and Octavia as ordinary members to the board. With that said, it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in some parts of the world. And we will now adjourn the meeting until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But that doesn't mean you should just run out on the streets and freeze to death here in Iceland. There's activities planned, and I'm happy to give the floor to Octavia. But before she starts speaking, we're adjourning the meeting until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Do we hang on to these, each and every one of us?
Hold on. Adjourn.
What
Yes,
about
do
the
that.
application for membership?
Sorry.
We don't have an application for membership?
Dear European Pirates, congratulations on the new board.
It was nice to see.
Woohoo! You have an excellent board. That said, today is Sovereignty Day in Iceland. It is exactly 100 years since we broke free of the colonizing tyranny of Denmark. Or at least we started that process anyway. Because it's a very special occasion in Iceland, the parliament is open and it's available to the public to come in and see. You are all a part of a group that was invited by the Icelandic parliamentary group to have a tour and then join the parliamentary group in the parliamentary office right next to Parliament to have a conversation about power politics and this and that. There is a reservation at a restaurant called Le Coq at 7:30 tonight. It's in Tryggvagata. It's on the wiki. So the reservation is made. Unfortunately, we're not in a position to be able to pick up the tab. We'll probably have elections again very soon, maybe have more members of parliament, and then we can ask them to pay. But for now, we made the reservation for 20 plus people, so there should be enough. In terms of getting us into parliament, there are a couple of folks here that have cars and that will be able to freight some of you down to parliament, where Smári McCarthy and the assistant to the parliamentary group called Eiríkur will be receiving you. Those of you that will not fit in those two cars, I'm going to order a large taxi to bring the rest of you down there. Okay?
I have also place for 3.
Oh, and yeah, so Salgur has place for 3?
I have place for 3, 2 or 3.
I don't know, so maybe, but that's 14, so maybe I'll order a small taxi, who knows?
I have place for 3.
I'm going with Fogner.
See,
So 2.
would you look at that? It's looking like we'll be able to crowdsource our way down to Parliament. So the meeting place is in front of Aðal Ingangur Alþingis, where Smári will be waiting. So those of you